Do it. Oh, hello and welcome to Curveball. I'm Heather Campbell, and today I am with DeAnna Zine. And I even threw her a curveball today because she just thought she was going to be talking about being on the podcast, not actually being on the podcast. So I just want to give her so much credit for just handling this curveball in process with such grace and just doing it. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Okay.
It was a curveball.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yes, we're doing it. And then she's like, okay, let's do this. So amazing. Okay. So DeAnna's curveball that we're going to talk about did not arrive gently. She was a single mom. She was working 3 jobs and she had this investment sort of side thing she was doing. And she basically invested her life savings and would use distributions from those investments to, live her life. And so it's basically all of her life savings, and it disappeared within a matter of hours, and not because of anything she did. Overnight, she went from hopeful to broke, in debt, and barely able to put food on the table for your kids. I cannot even imagine that stress. What followed was just a year of survival, shame, and literally rebuilding from the ground up. Today, she helps others turn rock bottom into reinvention building, soul-aligned businesses that fuel their lives instead of draining them. DeAnna, welcome to Curveball. So talk to me a little bit about this situation where you went from sort of like rags to riches.
Yeah, Heather, as you're saying that, honestly, like I'm almost getting teary.
Okay,
I'm
if it's too much
moment.
too, like I want you to know, like, just we can take it easy. Okay.
I'm good. It was just happy tears almost that you're out of it, right? So yeah, I can remember that moment. I had, like you said, that investment, everything I took away from my marriage, which wasn't a lot, and invested it into my own condo, and then I sold it, and I had this investment, and I decided to put it all into futures, and I trusted my friend with it all. And absolutely what you said, it was a matter of moments. And so I had this investment, I was rolling with it, and I had income from it every month, and I had got a home for me and my 2 boys that felt so good because I had made it there, and it was a beautiful home. It was and it was expensive, and all in the blink of an eye, I had an argument with my friend, and I got home, and everything had been on trades, and I lost it all of it, just within under 24 hours, like from.
I cannot even imagine.
It was rock
so
bottom.
like, did you have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in there? Like tens of thousands? No, but like tens of thousands? Okay, tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. That was like growing pretty quickly. So this, this idea of, it's growing, I can pull money from it. And because I was also going to university at the time, and so I was living off of it a little bit. And it was really my stability.
Just knowing it was there. I know the comfort of what it feels like when you have money just there, that if something happens, like I feel it just makes such a huge difference.
Yeah. And I think there was a sense of pride in it as well, because it was something that was my second curveball. I mean, for anybody who's gone through a divorce, that was another rock bottom. And I grew from that rock bottom and built my self-worth and started to build myself, and through all, and then to be there again, it was, but in a worse state.
So is that illegal what your friend did?
No, I don't think so, because he was managing it, right? And he knew I was going to pull it out, and so he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to allow you. I'm going to put it all on trade, so you can't."
Oh my gosh, that is just that, because not only are you dealing with financial devastation, but like the betrayal of a friend is also a huge deal.
It was big. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you put your trust, like I had said, I put everything in there because it's a friend and trust, and it took a bit to bounce back from that. And
so you said you were just like in pure survival mode at that point. Then like, did that just like, because obviously you have kids, and I'm assuming you were working 3 different jobs and going to school too. Like, you guys, there is a very happy ending. I just want you to know, like, serious, like that she really did. Like, there is. You went to rock bottom, and and even when you feel like you're falling, I just also know that there always is a bottom. It just might not feel like it at the moment. So how how did it show up in your parenting and your sense of self? Like, I mean, how did you get through like those first, like say 6 months after adjusting to all of that?
So yeah, when you say being a parent, shame, Heather, shame, because here I am, I provided this, was able to get for the kids, and they all got new bedroom suites, and like, we built from the ground up and everything's good. And then the fear of like, how am I going to support this? We just got there. It was a few months, right?
Oh my gosh.
And so a lot of shame, because also, after rebuilding after the marriage, and because again, like just coming from nothing and then all of a sudden rebuilding and then to lose it all again. And
right.
Yeah, it's really, it was, you're feeling a lot of shame, but what is it when you say, I think it really boils down to mindset and knowing like we can't allow ourselves to stay in that position. It's on us. It's not on anybody else. And we have to, I have this sort of mantra I go through in any of these situations. We have to allow the emotions, right? Like I just said, the shame, we have to feel it. We don't, it's not toxic positivity. We got to acknowledge how we're feeling. And then we got to take that ownership, and we have to realize it's on us. Nobody's coming to save us. This is the situation, and we must start to rebuild.
So shame can really keep people stuck. And shame, I just think, is like it is just such a tender emotion, because it just includes, I think so many times too, it like, whenever I feel shame, it's like when I tried something, or, you try or you work towards something and then it doesn't like happen like you think it will. And then you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed for even trying, And so you said it's like within you, but like, how do you start to work your way out of that? Just especially like when starting over, probably felt like just for a third time, just to be like, oh my God, like what is this cloud over my head? So a lot of people could really go down a dark path and just be like, okay, well, I'm not meant to ever be happy, and I'm just curious, like when you say it's on us, tell me what you did personally, and then how, because I know now you can tell people, we should tell people what you do, because it will give a lot of context to what she's about to share with us too.
Yeah. I have my dad's voice in the back of my mind going, you're always okay. I remember one day he was really worried about me, and he goes, but you know what? You're always okay. Like just knowing that I always pull. And so when you ask, and so you have that mantra, which helps, like I said, mindset, right? Knowing,
right.
Whatever challenge comes your way, we're always okay in the end. And so I kept that, and it wasn't a reinvention or like a growth that happened right away. There was pain. I ended up, I had to give that place away. Like we couldn't stay there. My kids went to live with their dad. And that was, again, so part of the rock bottom, alone. They took the dog with them. I was alone, and I had a breakup all in that moment. So it was a tough season.
That is so much.
So it was lonely.
Do you look back at yourself? How long ago was this?
That would have been 9 years ago.
Okay. So 8 years, do you look back at your 8 years ago and just think, I can't even believe I was able to make that through, or I can't believe I was able to make this happen, or because you were still going to school too, you were pursuing your degree.
So I had my degree.
And now
and then getting the counseling diploma was,
Yes. And she has a thriving counseling practice now. I just want to know. So did you ask for help, or did you sort of silo in, or what was your process for getting out? Because I always find it interesting when people who are in, the area of mental health or self-improvement or personal development, when they have like these curveballs, because you have access to information that a lot of people don't, like just from your field of study and what you do. So was that helpful? Did you find that you felt like you had a good toolbox, or were you just sort of winging it?
Yeah, a little bit of winging it, but you're right, in the toolbox. And So I had my degree in psychology, but then I was doing my diploma in counseling, and they put you through the grind psychologically. They make you like revisit your childhood. Like a lot of the work is involved in yourself. So I'm going through this process. And yeah, we mentioned the 3 jobs. So how do you pull yourself out? So Heather, I was working nights, 3 nights a week at a group home. So it was a sleep. You could sleep a little bit, but you had to check on everybody. So doing that at nights. Then I would wake up and go work at ARC programs, which is like helps like autism children and adults.
Right.
And then I would go run boot camps. So I would go outdoor boot camps in the evening, like 5 to 6 before my night shift. And then I opened my business as a counselor. So then I was putting that in. I was trying to build my business, but trying to maintain an income, right? So you just rebuild, you grind, you do what you have to do. Remember I said it's all on us.
Right. I know. And I think people want the message to be like, well, can't I just meditate, or can't I just, sit and try to manifest something? Talk to me about the grind and why this is like, what that means to you, and why you think that that's an important part of the rebuilding process.
Yeah. So the grind is like, it's a must mentality. I guess it's like you, and I want to be cautious with the grind piece, because, there's that hustle and flow, right? So we're grinding, but not to that point of burning out, which I think I was a bit back then, but so it's showing up, it's doing everything it's going to take to get us where we want to be. And so, just grind, just doing what you have to do to
right. Keeping eyes on the prize. Yeah. Like, I think it's interesting. Like I know that there is, like, you can look at like Nikola Tesla, and there's that 3-6-9 technique where you write down what you want 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night. And then people don't know that there's like a whole other side to that, which is, what have you done today to work to achieve that? So you were so determined about what you wanted to do. And then you did not have easy jobs. I'm assuming working in a group home is not an easy job. I'm assuming working at ARC is not an easy job. And, and then of course, starting a business and becoming a counselor too, like also doing that. So, you said that it like rock bottom, like you looked at this now as like a starting point. So what shifted internally that allowed you to sort of stop the fall, like to let you know, like, okay, because I think sometimes on rock bottom, it's nice that it's rock, because sometimes you can get like 2 solid feet on the ground to sort of decide what to do. So what allowed you to realize you were on rock bottom and start rebuilding your life?
That's a great question. I think it is what you said. It's putting those 2 feet on the ground. And I think it's that creative side in me, right? I love the rebuilding. I think you have to really embark and want the journey and enjoy the journey. Like it's not something we have to do. It's like, okay, what am I going to create? It's not this almost like a victim mentality of like, poor me, how am I going to get myself out of this? It's like, okay, here we are. How are we going to rebuild it? The sky is like the limit, right? You're creating your own future through, I truly believe, around our thoughts. And so just by reframing, like I could have gone into 2 different mindsets, right? It's like, oh, wow, I'm doomed. Like I'm hopeless. Like my life is going to go nowhere. Or it's like, okay, now what? What are we going to do, DeAnna? Right? Let's, it's all us. What are we going to do? What do we want to create? Where do we want to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? Like, what do we want for ourselves?
Right. Isn't it just so interesting about asking a question? Like one of the things I learned long ago in my corporate career was like when you brainstorm, to never brainstorm for solutions, but to always brainstorm for questions. Like what questions do we have to have answered in order to, and what that does is it's just amazing. Like you can almost like feel the energetic shift from like doom. This is so overwhelming. How am I going to do this? Like to how could I do this? What do we want to create? Because what does that do? You're a counselor, so you probably know better than I. What does that shift psychologically in people when you start asking questions like that?
Yeah. It takes you from a feeling of stuck to feeling of opportunity, abundance. Like what can, control, because in those moments you can feel very out of control. So by having that, what do I want to create? Who do I want to become? What are we going to do here, DeAnna? Like, let's do this. Yeah. It's very.
Right. Yeah. I love that. So I know you're from Canada, but you seem like you sort of have like this New York City, like tough vibe. You know, like you would be a great member of the mafia because you'd be like, hey, what are we doing? Let's just take care. Let's just do it. But I love that because the questions aren't even complicated and they're not heady. They're not like super like they're not even necessarily introspective, which I think is scary for some people. And I just I just think those are two great questions. What do I want to create? Who do I really want to be? And then your brain like sort of starts automatically like sort of going there, like sort of preparing, looking and listening for things in a different way. Right? Like that's so cool. So your work now centers on helping people who get out of careers that are absolutely draining them. So who do you like, what does that mean exactly? Like, do you help people like who have a dream to do something in this world and they're stuck like in a corporate job, like leave corporate jobs
or just any sort of like employment, right? That 9 to 5, the paycheck, and knowing that, my real ideal kind is knowing that within them there's more or wanting more for themselves or having this business idea or, like you said, drained, just capped by income, living that I'm taking this from my own experience of having to work 3 jobs and barely still making it, right? So helping people know that there is no ceiling. And again, they're their creator and let's design the life you want. What's the life you want to live? Because we're not here forever. How do you want to live this life? And let's design a business that is an extension of your personality. And so when you wake up every day, you're excited and it feels like play and you're not capped by your income or your hours. Like you schedule your holidays for the year, you schedule your life. Like if, I work with some women who are becoming grandmas. Okay, well, let's schedule in. When do you want to be a grandma first? Because that's the most important. And now you're going to work around that. Really designing your career around the work or like the life you want and then making it just an extension of self.
Yes, totally. I love that. Well, and as a branding and marketing person, of course, I'm like, I love that you say that because people don't know because they're just like, well, I'm just like a single person in this huge world. And oftentimes when they leave the context and comfort of a company that like your title tells everyone like who you are, how hard you worked, where you are like in the whole social system. Like there's a lot of context in there. And when that's taken away, because I work with a lot of executives turned entrepreneurs too, it's like a shift, definitely. And I'm always like, no, but there's a reason, like you are the only you in this world. So let's really capitalize on that. Yeah. And I love how you prioritize that. Almost seems like, I think, especially for women, how do you get women comfortable with this idea of planning their work around their life as opposed to the other way around, especially because as women, I think I just don't think women have that same kind of balance. Yeah. Like, because there is family, there is kids, there is home, there is work, so I don't know. I remember when I used to work corporately, I would think, of course I made time for my family, but like, of course I felt like, oh no, like work's going to be mad or like, and then when I was at work, I'm like, oh, I'm just letting down my family. Like you're so stuck in that, in that cycle. So how do you even begin to do that?
Oh, that's all mindset work because that's very uncomfortable. Like to be leaving, the corporate is you're leaving that steady paycheck, you're leaving security, right? So there's a lot of mindset around that. It's really through helping them see again that opportunity, right? Like so the same mindset we talked about is like, okay, what would that be like? So creating that vision in really outlining your values, right? What are you at the end of the day? Like, what's your values? Is it family? Is it career? Is it freedom? Is it like, what is that? And so really allowing them to see that. And then there's a lot of social proof. There's a ton like, making money, designing business is all from here now. Like you can do whatever you want and helping them see that there's a lot of proof out there. of female entrepreneurs just really creating through through what they love
and putting themselves. I think I give women especially so much credit just because there is a narrative in our society, and I'm not sure how it works in Canada, but I'm assuming it's similar, that women don't show off, or if like you talk about your attributes, like some people might accuse you of being like a braggart. And I always think that is just so interesting because I have a son and a daughter, and I just looked at sort of the differences, even in how I treated them. Like, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm part of this societal narrative too. And
exhausting, right?
Yeah. Like I'm not even aware of it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So how did your own burnout and loss like shape your belief around work? Like, I mean, obviously like you shifted to help people get out of jobs that drain them, but like, because sometimes like we say things and I'm like, oh, I sort of get that. But like, how does someone know if they're really like in a place that is just not going to get any better?
Well, there's of course, the dread, right? There's the Monday dreads, right? Like, I have to go to work. When that energy is just drained. When you're, part of it is income. Let's be real, right? When you're working so, and when your values aren't aligned, when you're going, oh man, I'm missing out so much on my children's lives, and that is so not in alignment. And some people can't really tap into the alignment. This is where the therapy comes in. But when we're misaligned, and so that's that sadness, right? The burnout, the not enough time, unhappiness, just waking up and knowing I'm not fulfilling, just that. Yeah, but dread is a really big one.
Right.
I would say when you're just dreading your job, or when you start to call in sick, or when all of these sorts of things, it's
right. Yeah, or maybe you start to get sick because you're so unhappy that you can start to get sick. That is so interesting. So I'm assuming that some people aren't able just to quit their job. Yeah. They don't have like a big nest egg sitting there. So what are some things that if someone's feeling really drained and miserable at work, what are some things that they can do right now to start to prepare to, I guess, because I can appreciate it as a former, very burnt out executive, you don't really know you're burning out, like when it's happening, for sure. It's like, it happens so iteratively, and then you're in so deep that you're like, oh my gosh. And I do know that there's a lot of shame around burnout too. It took me about 3 years after starting my own business to actually admit I was burnt out working in corporate, like, because I was supposed to somehow make it all work. But I think about just how much energy I gave to the company. And I just think if I didn't just take everything, I guess, so personally, like I had a very not healthy relationship with work. And so how does someone start to just make it tolerable to the point that they can think about creating, that they can think about, maybe there's
and you're right. So there's
a
few layers here, because as you're saying, like, I'm already burnt out. How am I going to even think about starting something new, right? When you're burnt out. So so very unique to each individual, of course. But so somebody who, if you're stuck in that corporate, like, is it a gradual, or is it taking that leap and just deciding so depending on their financial situation, right? Because sometimes too, when you're in that corporate, it's hard. I mean, you've been there. So there's certain things you're not allowed to do within, right? So you can't just start to do the exact same thing. You've got this contract where you're not going to go now, so every situation would be different. So depending on where they were, but you can go gradually, right? Depending on the industry that you're in, you can start that little side hustle that starts to earn money. So a lot of people I work with, I have one right now, like she's becoming a web designer, and so she can't quite leave her job that she has, right? But she can start creating websites because they're different. And so she's creating what sings to her soul while maintaining the job. And then this gradual, sometimes it's gradual for jobs. If you're 5 days, maybe you can go down to 4. So you have 1 day to work on your, the new business. So sometimes for some people it's a hard I'm out.
Right.
I have the security. I have the finances.
Right.
I'm out. I'm done. I'm burnt. And for others, it's got to be this gradual process. Yeah.
So it's so interesting because I'll meet a lot of people who want to do things that sort of help a little bit, but they're not like going to move the lever. Like I remember I met this woman and she's like, she was a photographer and she's like, I really have this dream of like becoming like a food photographer. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. And she's like, so I'm going to be working on this business plan and then I'm going to be doing this. And I'm just like, no, don't do that. I said, you don't need that. You just need one client. And once you have one client, it's going to be so much easier just to get a second client. And once you have your second client, then you can just, you now know like, okay, I know how to get people to work with me. Not even I know how to have an offer out there in the market that's reflective of me, that I love to do, and that people want and need. Like that's just like the best place to be. Right. And so, yeah, but it is just one step at a time. And I know that people think like, oh my gosh, like, how do I go from 0 to like 6 figures a year? Like, how do I do that? And that's like, it is working with people like you and working with people like me that help to sort of clear that path so you can see the path forward. And I don't know if this is your experience on the counseling side, but I know because marketing there's a lot to it, especially because you started your own business, right? And so that can get really overwhelming. But again, if you know where you're going, it's so much easier to get there. And everything is always much simpler than people think it's going to be. Do you find that the same too? Like when people like sort of find a path to healing, they're just like, God, that was so much easier.
Because they make it hard in their minds,
why do we avoid the easy things? Like, why do we make the easy things seem so hard?
To keep us safe, right? Keep us, we do the what ifs. What are all the things that could go wrong instead of looking at all the things that could go right? And the 100K mindset, it's mindset. It's easy to make 100K. And I know that might sound really strange to some people, but I'm sure you can relate to this. You just work backwards. It's like, okay, I want to make 100K. What does that look like? What are my offers? So here's my one offer. What do I got to charge per offer? How many clients do I need?
Right.
Or how many,
Right.
Oh,
yes. You are literally my dream. Like you are like literally taking everything from my heart and saying it out loud because it's exactly that. And it's not scary because again, you set your mind up for possibility. If like I practice a kind of yoga called hot yoga. So it's it's Bikram yoga. It's 106 degrees and like 40% humidity. So that posture where you're standing forehead to leg. So you stand, you grab your foot, you kick out. So you're balancing on one leg and kicking out and then holding your leg and then bending over. I'm just explaining for people who might not know. And so I was like, I'll never be able to do that posture. And then just one day in yoga, I was just like, well, I will never be able to do that posture if I say I'll never be able to do that posture. Like, so is like in that instance, I was like, that's so interesting because by saying I'm never going to be able to do it, it literally keeps me from trying. So, and then I have teachers who are like, I couldn't do that for like 10 years. And so it took me like 10 years of trying to do it, to actually do it, so I do see so that protection to keep ourselves safe, fear of failure, like we have such like a lizard brain fear of failure that we won't even try. I try now. I just want you to know, I still can't do that posture, but I never say I'll never be able to do that.
No, because you're right. It all begins in the mind. Yeah. Begins with thought.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was a thought, like, I'll never be able to do that. So I'll just stay standing and balancing, which is still very good and difficult to do and challenging on it. But I'm never going to improve. I'm never going to get out there. Like, you're never going to get out there if you don't get out there. That is so true. And it's not nearly as scary to, like, I can testify to you. The way that I describe it is it feels like you're on one high-rise building and you have to jump like you're in the movie The Matrix to another high-rise building. And you have to jump over an alley with like broken glass and fighting dogs and like broken needles. And you're like, I definitely do not want to fall down there. And then I always realize like when I have this huge like just a story I've created that this step forward is going to be so difficult. And then when I actually take it, it's like just stepping over a crack in the sidewalk.
That's right.
There's never been a time where I tried something where I'm like, oh, this is much harder than I thought it was going to be. It's always so much easier.
Why didn't I start sooner? And so, even that envisioning what you just said, like trying to leap over these big and like, I'm going to fall. I'm going to like, that's that failure. What if we don't envision that? What if we just envision it's just one step and another little step and another, like, and it's just this gradual, see, it's all in, that.
Or what if we just say, like, why do we feel we have to jump from, why don't we just use the elevator and just go down calmly and then go to the other building and go up that elevator? Like there's not only one way to get to the other roof.
No.
Like how many other ways can we get to that other building too? Possibility.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, you make it seem so easy. You make it seem like, duh, everybody, possibility. So if someone's listening and they're feeling like completely strapped, either financially, emotionally, or professionally, what is the very first step you would encourage them to take to sort of move towards reinvention?
So of course, mindset, right? Knowing that, take ownership. No one's coming, like, don't count on that, winning that lottery ticket. Look within you. What are my strengths? What do I value? What comes easy? Kind of just really looking at self, digging into something, because if you look at what you love to do already, creating a business out of that, if you're doing it, I always say if work could feel like play. So waking up, so taking something within you, but just exploring within yourself and then looking at, because we can all solve a problem. All of us could solve many problems based on the experiences we had, right? Just like, I had the 3 jobs of 70-hour work weeks, and I'm helping others solve problems so they don't have to do that. So it's I would get them to just look inward. What is something that comes naturally? What's something they love to do on their spare time, and look at whether or not they can solve a problem for somebody else with that. And we can think of everything.
Right.
We all need help with something. I can't design a house or a room like if my life depended on it.
Yes.
So go help people do that. People will pay you hundreds of dollars to come into their house and look around and help me make this look good because I can't do it myself. And many women are good at that, or there's so much. Help me do my social media. Help me do my, whatever problem. But we all have something that we love within us.
Right. Yes. Oh my gosh. You are just such a breath of fresh air. So if people want to get, I don't know, they want to follow you, they want to learn more about you, they want to work with you. How do they get in touch with
Instagram's always a really great way, right? DeAnnaCrawford.com. I know we said Zine, so DeAnna Crawford on social media. I'm rebranding, and I'm getting married soon. So I've already changed over all my social.
Oh, thank congratulations!
So, so Instagram's the best way, and from my Instagram, in my bio, you can visit my website or other socials. There's a lead magnet in there if they're interested. There's a free download there to like a starter kit, kind of like how they can start to brainstorm on starting their own business, leaving that corporate job. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the good work you're doing. Just because I know how amazing, like I really liked working my job, but then it became sort of a battle with my job. Like once you become like, I don't know, and so I just want the number of times I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful I have my own business. Like I just love having it. I don't think I could ever go back to working. I was looking, someone sent me a job description and it had like just all these buzzwords in it. And I'm like, I don't want to, like, I just want to, I mean, it's really quite beautiful. And, but there's a lot to it. Like, I mean, it's not like for some people it is, but for most people it's like sort of patient progress. And again, one step at a time. And so I just really appreciate the work.
Thank you so much. It was so wonderful to meet with you today, Heather. Thank you so much.